Alright, welcome back to my second installment, everyone, of my support analysis YouTube video series that I'm starting here. So if you're new here, definitely a warm welcome. And this is going to be, if you're new here and aren't familiar with this yet, I'm going to be doing a video series on my channel where I analyze my own support gameplay in hopes of potentially helping other people who might have questions about how to play support or that just want to see how the support role works in a competitive, mid to high level team setting. It seems like quite a few people from my last video actually want to see how I play support and go over it for TC, Tower Control, or Rainmaker. And both of these modes are actually really interesting in a support setting in the sense that you either are going to be just riding the tower or carrying the Rainmaker the majority of those matches. Now, that's not to say that's how every team has their supports play Tower Control and Rainmaker, but I know that most teams do this, and that is the way that my team plays those as well. So this time I'm going to go ahead and try to make this video much shorter and only analyze one game. In this video, we'll be analyzing a Tower Control match. And as a reminder, as we go into this, I do only play Junior and support for my team Carnage Gaming. This isn't to say also that Junior is the only support weapon out there to play, of course. It's just the weapon that works best for myself and my playstyle. So, without further ado, let's get into it, guys. Okay, so basically my team just did a scrim that was all Tower Control. So I tried to pick out a game from the scrim that was like pretty close. I felt like it kind of showed like support plays pretty decently, and it was like all around just a good game to show. So it's kind of weird. I have this like idea about how I play support in my team for Tower Control, and I know how I do it in my head, but I've never tried to like watch myself and put it into words. So I'm gonna try my best here to put it into words, and a lot of what you guys are gonna see is actually not just, me being a good support player or anything like that, but it's a lot of team synergy and team coordination that you're gonna see too. So I'm gonna try my best to like explain my thought processes around what I'm doing with my team when I play Tower Control, and then just try and point out still same as the first video, what I did wrong and what I did right. But I think this is a really important role because like you are the Tower Control rider, but well, at least with my team, I am the Tower Control rider, I should say. But there's still a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of, judging special coordination, a lot of playing off of what your teammates are doing, a lot of juggling the tower, not just riding it to straight into the other team to die. There's like a lot that goes into it, and Tower Control and Rainmaker are kind of interesting too for support players in the sense that you die a lot more. So I have actually thought about almost building a Junior QR build. I have thought about it for Rainmaker and Tower Control because I'm the Rainmaker carrier. I'm just gonna keep dying, if I'm carrying the Rainmaker. Or I'm the Tower Control rider. I'm the main target because that's what the other team wants. So you'll see what I mean. But yeah, it's definitely interesting in the sense that clams and splat zones, you really try to stay alive, save your special. You still want to do that for these modes too, but it's just quite a bit different. Like with my team, how I went into this before in the first video. Remember, I am the objective for my team. So I'm going to be the Tower Control rider. I'm going to be the Rainmaker carrier. I'm going to be the person who stays on the zone. So that's how we play it. That's not to say that's correct or how everyone else should be playing it, but that's just how my team and I play it and how we think that works best for us. So let's go ahead and start into the match, and hopefully what I was just saying makes sense. And then you'll see also like what I mean about what I was talking about. So in the first support video, you actually saw Shiny playing Blob, who Shiny is our anchor when he plays Charger, but like with Blob, his role is just kind of a question mark. Like he plays aggro but support but backline at the same time with Blob. So here we're gonna see Shiny actually playing backline, and it'll be a little bit different. I mean, not really, but kind of. So anyways, starting out here, of course, you know what we're doing. Painting for armor. Remember, whenever I start a match, no matter what mode it is, no matter what map it is, I am going to be painting for armor. So you see me doing that here. Of course, getting that opening armor. And let's see what happens after that. Okay. So right away, I armored, and then there's not callouts here, obviously, but I'll definitely call out. You know what I'm pretty sure we were saying. I immediately realized Red was over here on the left side pushing, and then Shiny had the laser over there too, because Shiny recognized it too. And then in the opening, you know, it's with the armor, it's just kind of you have to play off of who gets picks first for the team. So I tried to bomb over here to help Red left, but unfortunately Red goes down. So let's see what happens next. Okay, so both of the frontliners are down here. So Red and Uzi are down. So I immediately recognize that, and I'm also getting rushed right here. So that means I immediately am out of there. I do not want to engage in any fights. I do not want to bother with any of that. Usually, you know, generally backing up to save armor. Obviously, I had just armored, so I'm not going to have any armor, but let's see what happens. Okay. And Shiny goes down also. So Shiny down also. Red's just respawning. Uzi's down. So I was getting rushed, and I was the last one up. So that is an instant, let me get out of here. Let me jump out of here. Even if I'm, you know, not a support player, I think yeah, you're going to be wanting to do that anyways, no matter what role you have on the team. Okay, so remember, respawning, like I said in the beginning of this, starting of the match, respawning, you know, jumping back with your teammates like this, immediately first priority is armor, because this other team right here is on the tower. That means we are going to be going into this playing defense. So I need to get armor as soon as possible without dying. That way my teammates will have armor on defense. Like you can see here, this team has 2 inkjets and an armor and missiles. So they already have 1 inkjet ready. They're going to be wanting to inkjet us right away, especially since they have 2 of them. So I need to get armor as soon as possible. But Uzi goes down, unfortunately. Let's see what happens. Red goes down also. Uzi respawning back. So here, you know, the fronts go down both again. I'm still just trying to paint for armor. I'm not going to drop into any engagements. That is not my priority at all. I do not need to be fighting anyone. We have 0 specials. You know, the frontliners can get away with stuff like that more, but for me as a support, that is, if I see an inkjet, if I see someone trying to 1v1 me, I am out of there. No, that is not my priority. I just need to be getting armor because we need to be playing defense. So, Red and the T-Tech get a trade. And you could see I almost have armor, so let's see when I get to a point where I use it. Okay. So I waited I like to do that sometimes. Sometimes most of the time I do like to wait for, like, if one member of the team's down, I like to wait for them to come back. That way we can all go into this defensive push with armor instead of just 3 of us having it. And then I knew too that we had been playing this team and they had double inkjet. And I already knew preemptively going into this that they were gonna be inkjetting us a lot, so I wanted to just armor us right away. That since we were all 4 back, and because I didn't want us to get inkjetted again and then go down. Yep. Okay. Well, right as I was just making that speech, the look at the L3 that had the inkjet. See what I mean? So I was learning that I armor, and then bam, they inkjetted right away. So my teammates over here, Uzi, I don't know if it was Uzi or Shiny or Red who, but they had my armor to be able to take on that fight with the inkjet. So if they wouldn't have had my armor there on defense, there's a very, very good chance that they would have not survived that. So my armor is really crucial on defense, because it enables my teammates to win their fights, just like this perfect example here, and that's exactly what happens. Okay. Oops. Oh, it's a nice little bomb kill. So whenever I'm pushing back into mid like this, I like to do it just very carefully. I don't like to rush into anything. I like to like kind of like make a wall ahead of me, slowly make sure everything's painted ahead of me. I've had this happen too many times where I'm pushing back in and someone's sharking and I just think I'm safe and I don't paint with, like, I don't throw out bombs for spacing. If you notice, I'm always throwing out bombs, and I use that as like a spacing mechanic because that will show sharkers. So when I'm rolling out bombs ahead of me, it's gonna show out any sharkers that are in the enemy paint, and then that's gonna mentally let me know that, okay, it's okay for me to approach this area just to paint it. Like, I seriously have had that happen so many times. I think I'm safe. I'm just like, dee, and all of a sudden a sharker just pops up and destroys me because I'm a junior and I can't fight that. So it's like, okay. So I definitely, you'll see me doing that a lot. I use my bombs as a spacing mechanic. And see, just like that, I was able to get this splat by doing that. I knew that someone was there, but whether or not that bomb was going to get them, I just either wanted to use that to either push them back or get the splat on them. And in this case, it did get the splat on them, So here we go. We're all coming back into mid, making sure everything is painted. Plus, I want to make sure that I have an armor ready because since we are pushing into mid here, that means that we are going to get ready to have a push going on our side. So right now we have the advantage. Shiny has a bomb rush ready. I'm almost to armor. I'm sure they're going to have special soon. And the other team has 1 member down, so that means we are in advantage here. We have the setups for a push to get started, and we have a lot of map control. So here we see armor ready, bomb rush ready. Shiny is going to use his bomb rush, and I always like to, I mean, for all modes, but for tower control, it's really nice. What we've learned, this is not really like support specifically, but we like to like try to pair up like 2, if not all specials. We like to pair up like 2 at a time. So like 2 for getting the tower started, 2 for second checkpoint, 2 for third checkpoint, sometimes some type of variation of that. So I always like to make sure personally that my armor when starting a push, not always for continuing a push, but for starting a push like this, I like to pair it up with another special. So in this case, Shiny was able to bomb rush, and then I paired up my armor with Shiny's bomb rush. Okay, so this is me riding the tower. You know, you can see Shiny's above me, watching for anyone on glass. Red and Uzi pushed up together. And yeah, one thing I do on the tower is I am constantly throwing bombs, either in spaces that need paint, spaces where someone could be sharking, spaces where fights are going to be happening. So you'll see me doing that on the tower constantly. And then you saw Shiny there riding the tower with me, but we just have certain points where Shiny, we used to have Shiny, basically we used to have Shiny ride the tower, and then it turned into me riding the tower because I'm more mobile. So Shiny likes to push up with the back as the backliner, anchor, whatever you want to call it, and use that as a pressure point and utilize that. So that's why I'm the one who rides the tower, because I'm a little bit more mobile. So let's see if here you can see any of my examples of where I'm throwing bombs. Let's see. So here you see I'm painting for armor, and you could tell there too, I knew that I was pretty close to an armor and we needed to sustain our push going. So we had someone got one down. I'm almost to armor, and this is like there's like a turning point right here, because I knew, okay, we can definitely sustain this push. The other team has one person down. Remember, we're at the advantage. Red is in an inkjet right now, already adding a lot of pressure. So if we want to continue this push and I'm this close to armor, I definitely need to make sure I'm getting my armor. So you see me start painting around because I know that exact thing. So I'm gonna armor here, and then as a tower rider, there's like points where I personally know that I am going to be pushing the tower just to die. But I mean, Rainmaker can be like that too, right? Like right there you saw, okay, my teammates are dead, but we almost have the lead. So you really have to be like watching, like really paying attention to how close you are as at least me, I should say. I really have to be really closely watching to how close I am to getting the lead, how close I am to pushing the lead more, you know, like, is it beneficial for me to just ride this out or just jump out? Most of the time I like to stick it out, because my teammates will jump in and do crazy things, and it usually can be very beneficial. But you know, this was a really dire moment, especially because we were so close to the lead. We are at 45, they had the lead of 36. So you see I armor, Uzi goes down unfortunately, and then we get past checkpoint 2. So look at this, the lead, literally 3 points off. And I was sticking it out, and it literally looks like I was pushed off, but it registered at the lead. So I think it was worth it to just stick that out, push it to the lead. You know, even though it's not a huge lead, like for tower control is definitely much lower than Rainmaker. So I don't know. You just kind of have to judge it. It's just, I think it was worth it. Okay, so coming back in, remember, respawning, my priority is going to be armor. Because remember, I learned already that this team was doing double inkjet on us. Double inkjet, especially paired with missiles and armor. So let's see what happens. And I already painted so much of our spawn back here that I didn't have, you know, tons of paint to work with to paint for an armor. So I kind of have to get a little bit closer, but be really careful not to die because all the paint that I need to paint to get armor is up here. And in doing so me pushing through mid like this, my teammates are actually pushing from the right over here. And them alone paired up together got 2 kills of their own. So them getting those 2 kills and then me pushing into mid is really good because that means we are getting all of this mid control and already immediately able to push back into mid. And of course, remember I talked about I throw bombs for spacing and to see if there's any sharkers, yada yada. So you see me doing that too as we're pushing back into mid. Now, I noticed that red was in this 1v1 and whenever I see a teammate in a 1v1 like that, I'd like to try and come and help them as soon as I recognize that it's happening. So you see me recognize red's in this 1v1, red goes down, but I was able to finish the kill at least. So I think that was good. As soon as I could get over there, I did, and it worked out. And once again, my teammates are just... Actually, that's the same kills that happened. Never mind. Ignore me. I'm crazy. So now we are the other team 3 down. We are at an advantage again. The last person on the other team just jumped out. So I recognize that immediately and I am back on the tower. Now, I am back on the tower and I actually... If you see, I get armor. And I get armor at the same time this inkjet's ready. So this is one of those things, again, where you, as the support player, you have to be really watching these things. Like, I really have to make sure I'm watching when the other team has specials ready. And not only is it best for my teammates for me to armor when we're pushing up, but also to have this armor ready for stingrays, or, you know, in this case, a team with double inkjet, you know, those crucial specials from the other team that are going to be shutting down our pushes. So you see, I get the armor, and then I wait like a millisecond. I don't armor right away. And then I see that they pop this inkjet over here. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to armor because I want to make sure that we can keep pushing. And if you look too, actually, Uzi had missiles also. So remember I was talking about we like to try and pair armor with another special. And again, we were able to do that really well. That's another one of those things you have to just like be thinking about all these little minute things. Okay, the other team has an inkjet ready. My armor is really going to help us against that inkjet. And Uzi and I have our missiles and armor ready at the same time. Those specials paired together are going to do a lot of pressure, put a lot of pressure on the other team. So it's just like all these little like things about like armor timing. And then especially for tower control, you know, it's the sedentary tower that is going through a path, you know, it's not super fast. So you just have to like really have these little thoughts in the back of your mind as the support player. And there was my armor saving my own life. So you see me noticing that there's someone up here. And I obviously don't have the range to get over there, but I do have bombs. So I am immediately throwing bombs over there to try and, if not move them, at least, or at least, if not get the kill on them, at least move them. That's what I meant to say. Okay. This is one of those things, like, I know what I'm doing, but, like, I've never thought about explaining it. So, if you look, So we are obviously pushing the tower here, right? The other team, though, is inkjetting us. And that means you have to think about it from, like, I had a, like, when I was trying to really process, like, high level of this game, something I really had to do was think about stuff. Like, I can see what's going on my team. I know what we're calling out, but I have to really visualize and think about what's going on from the other team's point of view. Like, what's going to be their game plan? What are they going to, like, do to defend our pushes? So that is something that I really have to, like, think about and just really process and know what that allows me to process and know when it's best to make sure I'm pushing objective or I'm, you know, not pushing objective. I'm hesitating with objective, you know. So this is a really good example of that. So I'm on tower. This person here is shooting at me. And there's actually someone else up here on the top right of the roof. So I am not in too safe a position. Shiny calls out that he's gonna bomb rush, which he does. But me as the tower rider, is it more beneficial for me to go into this and this other person here where I'm obviously gonna die? Or is it more beneficial for me to, I call it baiting the tower. So is it more beneficial for me to just kind of bait the tower here, let it sit here for a second, let my teammates' specials kick in, and hope that they get the picks or the kills on the other team? So that's something I do a lot on tower control. And you definitely see it here. So I'm trying just to push the tower, but also stay alive. So I like to go on top of it. I like to go back. I like to just avoid all of these shots that you can see flying at the tower right now. And then also, remember, think about this from their point of view. You know, they have people shooting at the tower, and then they are missiling us also. So they are trying everything they can to defend the tower. They don't want us to push the tower any more than these 34 points that we already have. So they are on defense right now. They are just doing everything they can to stop us from pushing tower. So it's just like a situation where from our perspective, we are trying to push the tower, but we also don't want to die. And you can see us exactly doing that. So I had to go back. I backed up because I didn't want to die to not only the missiles that were on me, but the missiles that were on my teammates. And if you look too, I'm actually decently close to another armor. So let's see what happens. Okay, so red shell just retreating from an inkjet. Uzi is over here with me on the tower. The other team knew where red shell's inkjet landing was, so they were obviously able to call that out. And then it's just me and Uzi up here trying to just, you can see Uzi and I both kind of baiting the tower over here together. But we recognize that it's a situation where we are at a disadvantage. So we have shiny and red coming from spawn, and it's just me and Uzi against these 4 people. So we want to make sure we want to make sure we're staying alive, we're backing up, we're waiting for our teammates. We hold mid here, but also I need to make sure that I'm saving this armor. Remember, if you saw the last video, it's so important for me to save these armors before defense and not die, because if I died, then we wouldn't have an armor and that would just turn into a spiraling hot mess. So this is very important of me to come back into mid here and make sure I'm saving my armor. Now, if you notice, Uzi missiles that's actually gonna push them back even more because we have, look at all this mid control that we have. This is very good, and I think this is really good of me and Uzi to just kind of stall mid here, because if Uzi and I fell all the way back to our spawn with shiny and red, then we would give up all of this mid control that we have here, and this would just take away all the pressure that we had. So once I recognize that red shell is back in mid, and then someone even got a pick on the L3 on the other team, I want to immediately put the pressure on the other team so we can continue the push that we had going. We already have the mid control that we need, so I'm gonna go ahead and armor us so that way we can start pushing the tower immediately. And then there was a flank there too, so the armor helping my teammates, me, Uzi, and Red Shell getting flanked, armor is definitely going to help and let us be able to win that type of 1v1. So that was good. Okay, so this is oh, this part's funny. I'm like trying to paint over the side, but Shiny's like right here on the tower. Shiny's on the tower right now because Shiny likes to use the tower to jump over here into this glass area, so that's why Shiny's on the tower. But from my point of view, I'm since I just used armor, I want to immediately be painting every ounce, every spot of the other enemy team's ink, because I want to get another armor ready as soon as I possibly can. It's not even a, okay, maybe I need armor. It's like, no, as soon as I use armor, especially when I'm pushing the tower, I need to be trying to paint everything around the tower, because when you're riding the tower, it's a lot harder to, like, you can't move around, you know, obviously, to go paint for armor around the whole map. Like, there's only limited space you can be painting for armor. So I try to paint everything I can when I'm riding the tower, if I need to get another armor. Okay, so this is really good. You saw that Red Shell and Uzi went down, but Shiny and I are just kind of stalling out the tower here and continuing, remember what I said, baiting the tower. So we're just kind of stalling out the tower, baiting at the tower. Red Shell's jumping in so that way we can continue the pressure that we have going. I'm just making sure I'm not trying to die. I almost have armor. And look at, just painting that with the tower moving a little bit, I was able to get armor. And then I can actually use it immediately because Uzi is jumping in. Uzi's going to be back. There's going to be 4 of us here. And it's very good timing because that means the pressure that we have continuing to kind of bait the tower around and stall the tower around this area, and having the armor to just keep up the pressure is really good because that means the other team doesn't have armor. So we have the armor and we can win fights much easier. So it's very good. And then 2, remember I talked about pairing up specials. Shiny had Bomb Rush at the same time, so armor and Bomb Rush together to keep stalling the tower. Now if you notice, we're not necessarily like pushing the tower super far. And I talk about this a lot even too when I'm commentating. We're just keeping the tower over here on this left side of the map. And I really like to do this and stall out the tower, because it just makes it that much harder for the other team to be able to regroup, since the other team wants to be pushing the tower this way, but we're pushing it the opposite way that they want to be pushing it. So it's just making it that much harder for the other team to even get in a position to like think about pushing the tower at all. So I really like doing this and stalling out the tower, and just kind of waiting for the perfect moment to get a full push going. Like, we have the lead. It's not a very good lead, but we do have the lead. So that means we are sitting very comfortably right now with all the mid control that we've had this whole match. And that's just something I really like to do because that's, if you think about it again from the other team's point of view, that's really frustrating because the tower is the complete opposite direction of where they want to be pushing it. So that's one of those things where I really had to think about like how this is going or being seen from the other team's point of view to like really get and process like why doing this is a good thing. Oh! You can see I recognized immediately that who was down. So the other team, excuse me. The other team is pushing in with missiles and inkjet from the T-Tech, and then in doing so, Red Shell and Uzi go down. So them going down is not good, especially since the other team has it's a 3v2. The other team is inkjetting me and Shiny, and we are in just an awkward position on this map. So I try and jump out as soon as I recognize that's just Shiny and I, but I go down in doing so. So finally, the other team is getting in a position to get a push going. They're going into mid, so let's see how playing defense here plays out. So you see I'm trying to really like carefully paint around for armor and then also make sure that I'm throwing bombs over here on the right side, because that is going to stop the other team from like pushing up any closer, or at least if not fully stop them, stall them out in time for my teammates to get in positions to be able to defend and for me to get armor also. So I'm trying to carefully not die, get armor. I'm halfway there. And also in doing so, I like to make sure I'm throwing bombs just to add pressure. And you know, junior bombs, sometimes they get picks, but a lot of time they just add a lot of pressure. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, you can see that as soon as I got armor, I armored up, and I think that was good because remember I said we don't have a huge lead, so I really don't have time on defense right now to be in the last 37 seconds of this waiting for another special. I really don't. Like, the lead is literally 2 points off. The tower is getting pushed here. I need to armor right away because I need to make sure no one on my team dies. There's definitely a time and point where you want to, like on defense, you want to wait to armor with another special, or if not all the specials. Like if you have a huge lead, or you know, the other team is just going crazy and just pushing you can't stop. That's when you want to wait for another special or two specials or all specials. But this was kind of a dire moment in this case where the other team is pushing the tower. We're in the last 40 seconds of the match. We only have the lead by 2 points. I need to armor right now to make sure that we don't die as the other team is starting to push the tower. So with the armor, my team was able to get 3 down. The T-Tech was down also. And it was just this slosher up. I go down in this, but I don't think it's like you know, the world's worst death ever or anything like that, because I have this is like tower control, Rainmaker, very like, kind of like, I mean, all modes obviously are team oriented, but it's like very team oriented in this case, where I can just call them out and then my teammates are really good and are right there to get the picks. So I mean, it's essentially almost a trade if you want to make it that. So we are in the last 10 seconds here. We again got our mid control back really well. Red shell is down. All I really want to do right now, so we have the lead, remember. The other team, though, that means since we have the lead, the other team is going to be rushing to the tower. We're in the last 8 seconds. They have no other option right now. They need to get to tower and start pushing tower. Otherwise, they will lose the match. So I know that, and what I like to do in that case is just literally sit in one spot in one area and just throw bombs, if not on the tower, around the tower. Because this is where the other team is going to be rushing the tower from. They need to get the lead. They need to get on the tower. So me just throwing bombs here is either going to stop them or kill them. And so this is a really important thing that I like to do in this type of situation. And that was pretty good. I really don't have any. I kind of thought I would have more critiques for myself, but I really, honestly, I really like the way I played that and like my thought processes on that match. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully me going over that like helps anyone else think about maybe tower control, how I think about it. And I will definitely do more of these for tower control, and next I'm going to be doing Rainmaker, but definitely want to do more tower control video support analysis videos along with Rainmaker, because Rainmaker and tower control, there's so many, it feels like there's so many like different types of matches they can be. So I definitely am going to be doing more tower control support analysis videos in the future. This will not be the only one. So hopefully this was a good start for anyone who's interested, and hopefully this helped anyone out, answered any questions. And yeah, that's about it. So next video will be Rainmaker, probably in a few weeks. I'll get that out. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are interested in seeing more videos like this. All right, bye you guys.